You know what the best trick is to getting cool landscape shots or location shots like a movie studio, a nice sunny beach, snowy mountains without ever leaving your own studio? Well, all you need is one big green screen. Howdy everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to be covering on how to use a green screen and how to use it during compositing in Zoner Studio so that everything ends up looking nice and natural. A green screen is simply just a green background that can be very easily cut out, edited, or just manipulated thanks to its color and replaced with anything else. Now, if you don't have a green screen, you can also use green fabric or even a blue backdrop, which works almost as well and is commonly used for this kind of photography. The process is simple. The editor can easily recognize this specific color, and we can replace it with a completely different background or location. Now, this is why green screens are super nice to have, especially when you're starting out with photography, but even if you've been doing it for a long time, because it's super affordable, doesn't really cost much of a hassle, and it's just easy to use. So let's go take a look at some practical examples of how we can use this bad boy. You can take a portrait in a studio and place it into a completely different environment. Let's say a modern office, a historic street, or even some kind of elegant interior. And this works perfectly for corporate photography when you don't want to travel between different locations. Green screens work incredibly well for product photography. When you photograph a small product against a green screen, you can place it into a clean layout, onto some kind of texture, or into a styled eShop background. The results look consistent and polished. Creative products are another popular use for green screens. So for example, you can place children into a fairy tale forest, a spaceship, or a winter landscape. And even if you're shooting in a warm studio, combined with proper lighting, the effect can actually be really convincing. And if you're photographing sports or action, you can easily create your own dynamic posters. Just photograph the athlete in front of the screen, add an energetic background, colors or textures, and suddenly you have a visual that looks like it came straight out of a campaign. One of the biggest advantages is the size of the backdrop. With a large screen like this one, you can fit a full body shot with enough distance from the background, which makes the result much cleaner and a lot more natural. And what better way to explain the whole process than by showing it to you directly right here in our studio with our own green screen. It's also important to think about what your model is going to be wearing. Since they'll be standing in front of a green background, naturally they shouldn't be wearing green clothing. And if the clothes are too similar, almost like these ones, it's going to be much harder to crop the person out and isolate them from the green screen and add an effective backdrop. One big advantage of our studio is its size. We can place the model further away from the background, which helps minimize color spill, and those are those green reflections on skin or clothing, and this is crucial for clean compositing later. Now when it comes to lighting, try to make the background as evenly lit as possible. So if you have two lights, make sure you place them on either side of the green screen, and also that you have a special light, like the special light right here, that's going to shine down on the model. Now once everything is photographed, we can move on to editing. First, let's do some basic adjustments to the photo with the model in the Develop module. I'll check whether the model picked up any green color from the background, and if so, I'll reduce it locally without actually affecting the background. In local adjustments, let's select AI subject, and in color shift, let's lower the saturation of the green color. Once these basic adjustments are done, let's export the photo so we can work with a final JPEG in the editor. And now we can finally move into the editor module. It's important to mention that Zoner Studio doesn't have a dedicated green screen keying tool, but you can still edit this kind of photo very easily here. Now let's open the photo in the editor module because we'll be working with layers. First, let's duplicate the photo so that we always have the original, and then let's hide the original layer by clicking on the eye icon. Now comes the main part, removing the green background. Let's select the duplicated layer and choose the magic wand tool from the selection tools. Then simply click on the green area. Once the selection is ready, right-click the layer and choose Mask. Remove selection from Mask, and you can see here that the background has been removed. We can now cancel the selection by pressing Escape. Now if there are any green edges left, or if the magic wand removed just too much in some places, we can fine-tune the mask with a brush. I'm going to click directly on the mask, choose the brush tool from the drawing tools, and then use white or black depending on whether we want to add the mask or to remove more from it. Now I'm not sure whether the magic wand removed too much in some areas, but I can use the original layer as a reference. I'll turn its visibility back on and then lower the opacity, which makes it easy to see where the mask needs adjustments. Next, let's add a new background as a separate layer and place it underneath the green screen photo. Then we'll reposition and resize the background as needed. Finally, you can color match the model with the background so the result looks believable, and you can do this easily by adding an adjustment layer, for example, exposure, and clipping it to the layer that you want to adjust. Then you just fine tune it so that the model fits the environment or the environment fits the model. And that's the whole process. All you need is a big green screen, even lighting, a few simple steps in Zoner Studio, and you can completely change the background or your environment. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And even if you didn't, give us a thumbs up and let us know what you thought. We'd like to see you in the next video. And until then, take care. Ciao.